pensez qu'on vous pose cette question-là, pourquoi? C'est pour établir votre responsabilité sur ce bagage-là, au cas où. Le monsieur lui a rappelé ça. Le gars a pris peur. Et là, il a dit à la dame, non, il faut appeler les hôtesses, moi je ne peux pas. Oh non, pourquoi tu fais ça? Je dis non, je ne peux pas. La dame a commencé à se fâcher. Les hôtesses sont arrivées, mais madame, comment on va faire? Il faut l'aider. C'est là l'hôtesse a dit au monsieur, comme vous êtes ensemble, il faut l'aider avec ses bagages. Le monsieur a dit non, nous ne sommes pas ensemble. L'hôtesse a dit non, on vous a vu toute la durée, pendant toute la durée dans l'avion, vous étiez en train de parler ensemble. Ça veut dire que vous êtes ensemble ou bien vous vous connaissez. C'est là le noir qui était à côté. L'ange gardien a dit non, ils ne sont pas ensemble. Moi j'étais là depuis qu'il est rentré, depuis l'aéroport du départ. Ces deux-là ne sont pas ensemble. C'est juste qu'ils sont assis à la même place et que la dame a commencé la conversation depuis le début jusqu'à la fin. Mais ils ne sont pas ensemble, je le confirme. Et moi j'étais là. Les hôtesses ont discuté de monsieur dit non, vous ne pouvez pas lui demander de prendre ses bagages. Vous connaissez la politique avec les bagages. Ça, c'est votre histoire. Si elle est malade, c'est votre passager, c'est à vous de faire le boulot. Lui, il ne travaille pas dans cet avion-là. C'est là les hôtesses ont compris. Ouais, le gars a raison. Et le monsieur a pris son chemin. La dame aussi, avec les hôtesses, on l'a aidé. Et le noir, là, l'ange gardien est resté à côté du Nigérian jusqu'à la sortie. Arrivé à la sortie, la dame dit que non. On lui dit maintenant, bon voilà, on va chercher un porteur pour vous. Assurez-vous, je vais aller aux toilettes. Arrivé aux toilettes, la dame a fait comme si elle voulait fuir les gens. Non, mais qu'est-ce qui se passe? Et il y a eu une situation et les policiers sont arrivés. Quand les policiers sont arrivés, ils ont expliqué l'histoire. Et puis la dame a commencé à appeler le Nigérian. Non, mais pourquoi tu me fais ça? On est ensemble, tu veux m'abandonner avec les bagages. Pourquoi? Les policiers ont dit, mais qu'est-ce qui se passe, monsieur? Vous êtes ensemble? Le monsieur dit non. Et l'ange gardien dit, moi je confirme que ne sont pas ensemble. Cette dame-là veut piéger ce monsieur-là. Je ne sais pas pour quelle raison, mais c'est un piège. Ça a commencé dans l'avion. J'ai commencé à la suivre. J'ai trouvé qu'il y a quelque chose qui n'allait pas avec elle. Il y a anguille sous roche. Il doit y avoir quelque chose. Et c'est maintenant que je comprends que la dame peut avoir un problème avec ses bagages-là. Je ne le dis pas que c'est vrai, mais je suis sûr. Parce qu'elle veut à tout prix que lui, il puisse l'aider à transporter, à l'aider avec ses bagages. Quand nous savons que la politique est que tu ne dois pas occuper des bagages de quelqu'un d'autre s'ils ne sont pas des bagages, surtout que tu sais que quand les bagages ont été faits, tu ne les pas. Les policiers ont dit, ouais, ok, on va voir ça. Allez, venez au poste. Ils sont partis scanner les bagages de la dame. Fou, n'a fait que des signes, tout ça, là, le niveau. Il y avait de la drogue dedans. On a arrêté la dame et on a arrêté le Nigérian. Vous étiez ensemble, les hôtesses sont confirmées que vous étiez ensemble. Le monsieur est resté avec l'ange gardien. Non, ils n'étaient pas ensemble. Il a dit que moi j'ai suivi toute l'histoire, j'ai compris que cette dame-là avait un problème, elle voulait piéger ce gars-là. C'est pour ça que je témoigne. Ok, d'accord, venez quand même au poste. On a gardé le gars pendant 4 heures de temps, on a fouillé tous ses bagages. Tout était clean. C'est comme ça qu'il a échappé à la prison, à l'aéroport de Dubaï. Ceci c'est pour dire que la morale de cette vidéo, c'est que il faut, quelle que soit la circonstance, vous n'aidez pas quelqu'un à l'aéroport avec ses bagages que vous ne connaissez pas, une personne que vous ne connaissez pas, vous ne lui apportez pas de l'aide avec vos bagages. Si vous ne voulez pas aller en prison par miracle. C'est ça la morale de la chose. À bon entendeur, salut. Quel est bon manichouade en hasou? Et ciao.
You cannot travel faster than light, right? Through space, right? However, some decades ago, someone hypothesized, suppose you don't increase your speed to try to get to the speed of light. Suppose you exist on the other side of that boundary. You just start life on the other side of that boundary. What would that mean? What does that even mean? Okay? So if you look at the equations of relativity, there's 3 things that happen as you travel faster. Your time slows down as you near the speed of light, right? Your length shortens, okay, the direction of your motion, and your mass increases. Okay, if you try to get to the speed of light as a physical object, your length shortens goes backwards. A. B. The slowest you can travel is the speed of light.
Right.
And in fact, it would take infinite energy to slow you down to that speed.
Right.
In the same way, it would take infinite energy to speed you up this side of that universe.
To speed you up to the speed of light.
To speed you up to that speed.
Right.
So someone said, could anything exist there? And so we came up with people decades ago came up with the name Tachyons.
And that's because they dress poorly.
Tachyons from the Greek as a word for speed.
Okay.
So tachyons, the slowest they can go is the speed of light, and the fastest they can go is infinite speed.
Right. Yeah.
So in that case, you can go any distance.
You can go any distance
in any amount of time.
Right. Because at that point, you don't need a warp engine. You need a tachyon engine.
You need a tachyon.
Propulsion.
A tachyon chariot to carry you
oh,
through the
nice.
galaxy.
Well, look at that. Well, you made it very poetic. And it's the vehicle of the Greek gods.
Here's an interesting fact. That the early universe expanded faster than the speed of light.
Right.
Okay? Now, the way that happened was the space itself is expanding.
And so space is no longer a medium, it's the actual vehicle.
A medium to which you're moving, it is the thing itself.
It's the thing that's moving.
There's no violation of the speed of light there. And we learned that from the general theory of relativity, which generalizes all of the parameters for which there were very specific descriptions in the special theory of relativity.
Right.
In other words, the special theory of relativity involved constant motion with no acceleration. So it's a simplified case, if we can call relativity simple at all. The simplified case. The general relativity involves accelerations and gravity and curved space-time and all the rest of this.
Right.
When you learn about space and time as a fabric of the universe, it can stretch at any speed at all. In the early universe, it stretches faster than light. So that's where that's coming in.
Right.
In case there was a question about it.
Yeah.
But now, it turns out you can travel faster than light in a medium where light travels with a lower speed than it would in a vacuum.
Okay. So, like water going, like water.
Light going through water, light going through glass, light going through diamond, all travel slower than light going through a vacuum.
Gotcha.
Those lower speeds, hey, we can go fast. We know how to send particles faster than those speeds. We do that all the time. We accelerate electrons and protons and particle accelerate. So in a diamond, light travels 40% as fast as it does in empty space.
Wow.
If light was 60 miles an hour, in a diamond, light's going 24 miles an hour.
Right.
So what happens now if we send a particle faster than light in the medium? We didn't know, and it was tested. And we found out that when that happens,
the whole universe explodes. Everything disintegrates like a Thanos snap.
You have water, and so now you take a particle and accelerate it not only to the speed of light in water, but exceeding it. And when that happens, there's a flash of light. It's called, in that case, Cherenkov radiation.
Cherenkov radiation.
The speed of light would be faster in air, but still slower than the
vacuum of
space. So air is less dense than water, water is less dense than diamond.
Right.
Okay.
So we're getting slow light when it hits our atmosphere and comes down to...
It's already slowed down.
It's already slowed down.
It's already slowed down. So it bends in the atmosphere, and then it bends again going into the water. If you have a diamond ring underwater, it bends going into the diamond ring.
Wow.
So you get a four bend path on that. So my point is, going faster than light triggers this reaction between the charged particle, electron, and proton, and the flashes of light. That's called the Cherenkov radiation. So there's Cherenkov light. Just to be simple, all light is radiation.
Exactly.
People say, radiation, oh my God.
But you're being bombarded with radiation every single day, all day.
Correct. It's just low energy radiation. Your arm go fall off.
Right.
Right. High energy radiation that is ionizing, that's bad for you. Low energy radiation, it makes no difference to your body. Your body doesn't care.
Exactly.
So, this thing about going faster than light and then emitting this energy is kind of like a sonic boom. Right? I mean, it's conceptually similar. You go faster than sound in the medium, then there's this shockwave that runs out upon doing so. So think of it as kind of a light shockwave.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
You know what will just bypass tachyons?
What's that?
wormholes.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, wormholes, you don't need rockets. You don't need transporters like what they have on Star Trek.
Right.
Just open a portal, step through, and you're there.
There you go.
You don't have to be dematerialized, beamed, and then dematerialized on the other side.
Right.
And not only that, that material, I think, only goes at the speed of light. It's still limited by the speed of light, even when they do beam.
Right.
All right, that's all I got for you. All right. This is the most time we've ever spent about talking about something that we don't know exists.
That we don't know exists. That's pretty cool.
because it's going to cut through the water faster. So, and they become solid. Then, in the early solar system, which was an especially bad shooting gallery, other planetesimals can slam into you and shatter you to smithereens after you have formed, after you've been pre-sifted. What that means is the asteroids you become are now pre-sifted for the ingredients. Some of them will be rocky, others will be metallic. We have metallic asteroids in the solar system. If you go lasso one of those and bring it to Earth, it will have, depending on the size, of course, but there are asteroids out there with more gold in them than have ever been mined in the history of the Earth. By the way, there's way more iron than gold. Oh, God, yes. There's not much gold in the universe. Because start there. Yeah, so gold is plentiful but highly scattered unless you're going to find the pre-sifted stuff in asteroids. Oh, by the way, there's more gold in the ocean than have ever been mined on Earth. So the answer is it's rare but common.
Can we feel the change in spin speed of the Earth at the equator versus at the poles? Obviously, at the equator, Earth is going to be spinning a lot faster, and at the poles, it's going to be spinning a lot slower. And obviously, this has a lot of effect on the planet as a whole. But can we, as humans, kind of feel that change?
Interesting question.
Apparently, he knows that the Earth spins faster at the equator.
Yeah, so at the equator, you are moving 1,000 miles an hour. West to east, 1,000 miles an hour. As you go north or south of the equator, the surface of the Earth is not moving as fast. It's moving as a solid object, of course, but your circumference is not as big if you are farther away from the equator than the equator is. So, but you still make one turn in a day, so you're clearly moving slower. All right. So, if we paved over Earth, okay? And I never thought of this example before. It's the first time I'm thinking of this. You pave over Earth, start you at the equator, and we say, run due north, and don't stop. Okay? And you start running due north, but then they no longer tell you which way north is. You just start headed to the Santa Claus. Okay? You start running, and you're always going in a straight line. You will think you're going in a straight line, but you're not. You step back, and we see your path. Your path will curve east, and you'll never hit the North Pole. Because every step, that's the point where you took your last step, has higher sideways motion than the point where you just landed. So it is carrying you east without you even knowing it, even though you think you're running in a straight line. And another way to do this, if anyone still has them, you remember the record players? Right. Okay? Take a little marble, start it at the end of the record player, and then roll it inwards. It will overtake the spindle and come in ahead of it. So that's kind of the only way you would know it. By the way, clouds know all about this, right? That's why they circulate into storms. Right. Clouds coming up from the south, they overtake their destination. Clouds coming down from the north fall behind. As you do this, that creates a circulation. The whole storms in the northern hemisphere rotate counterclockwise.
I studied English for years, and I thought I know English, but then I moved to America, turns out, no. Like, I didn't really know it, like, all the things, like, I think the hardest word to truly master has been the word ass. Ass. I thought it's really easy, it means a butt. But no. Like, yes, sometimes it can mean a butt, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Like, there are so many meanings in the word ass. I think it's the most complicated word in English. I've been trying to write a whole dictionary about just ass. So there's so, like, for example, lazy ass. That means anything. I just bought this blue ass shirt. Oh, thank you. That was some good ass meatballs. Anything, but you have to be careful because sometimes if you add ass to something, it can actually reverse the meaning of the original word. Like for example, bad ass. That's good. Like bad is bad, but badass is good. But not always. Like dumb ass is still dumb. So how can you know? You have to know specifically which ones are flips. And then there's the concept of your ass. And your ass, that means like yourself. Like move your ass. That's like move everything. Move your ass and the rest of your body. And like everything. If you have a car, that's included in the ass. All of them, same direction, just move. So your ass means yourself plus all you have. But my ass, that means like no. Like if I say that, wow, this car is really fast, and you say, oh, fast, my ass. So it means like, no, it's not fast. And to make it even more complicated, ass can be divided. Like if you are an ass, that means that you're being stupid. But if you're half-assed, it means that you are not concentrating properly. And if you go even smaller, if you are a piece of ass, then you are beautiful. I studied English for years, and I thought I know. English, but then I moved to America. Aging is a disease that, in fact, even if you look up the definition of what a disease is, it's something that happens over time that makes you sick and can even kill you. If that's not aging, I don't know what is. It's only that aging is very common, and just because something is common doesn't mean we should ignore it or just regard it as natural and acceptable.
Right. So have we naturally, has aging changed over a period of time? Naturally, people died at 30 years old back then. Are we naturally living longer?
Yes, but not because of aging, but because of sanitary advances and clean water and.
Yeah, Chuck. Half the people died by 35 up to the mid 1800s.
Yeah.
So it changed very little from caveman up through the 19th century. It's all science and health and sanitation for sure, and vaccines.
To answer Chuck's question, we're actually aging faster than we used to. Our lifestyle is so comfortable that our bodies don't fight aging. And let's talk later about ways that we can reverse that. But Gary, so this information theory of aging, 13 years of work testing the information theory of aging. And what we did was we disrupted the software of the cells in an animal, in a mouse. We scratched the CD, as I was calling it. And what we got was predictable, which was an old mouse. And in every aspect it got old. And then we reversed aspects of its aging because we have the ability to reset the software now.
Okay, so now you Benjamin buttoned a mouse, is what you're saying? After you made it old, you actually reversed the process? Because that's
Yeah, we unbuttoned, then rebuttoned that mouse, yeah.
Okay, all right.
They looked really old. You can see online there are pictures of these mice. Unfortunately, they gave their lives for humanity. They got old, they got grey, they got wrinkles, they got hunchback, they got kidney, liver disease, they got blind. And then we reversed it, which is great. It means that there probably is a backup copy, like the information through aging suggests.
Is there such a thing as epigenetic inheritance?
That's where it comes from. Yeah, actually, a woman, Barbara McClintock, discovered it back in the 1950s. She found that there was inheritance of certain characteristics in corn.
But if you can turn them on and off, it's kind of irrelevant that it's inherited, because you can just go in and turn it off and on again.
Yeah, but you can turn it on. See, that's the problem with if it's inherited, it means that the behavior that you're doing now could actually turn on that gene expression without you wanting it to. So I think, but I read a weird study about epigenetics and use and how it would rearrange chromatin. So chromatin remodeling because of use. And if I recall correctly, they compared it to smoking cigarettes, which also does the same, not the same thing, but does a different thing genetically. So it changes like the methylation of DNA or something like that. I don't know. It was a while ago.
Doc, you're going to come and work with me at Harvard at my lab.
Yeah. No, we need him. We need him here.
that is impossible. What you said is true. So chromatin are the structures, these loops of DNA, how they bundle up. Because DNA itself in every cell is 6 feet long, but you have to get it down to that microscopic little cell. So chromatin is the bundling of the DNA. And open genes, red genes, the ones that the cell needs, are open chromatin, and then there's closed chromatin. And aging disrupts those bundles and those loops. And smoking accelerates those changes. A whole bunch of things do. You mentioned it. But if we don't exercise, if we get obese, even stress in our lives will accelerate that process. We can measure it by looking at those chemicals, which you call methylation.
All right, so is what you're saying that something can happen in your life after you're born that'll change your genetic code such that when you have offspring, it will inherit what you acquired in your life, which sounds very Lamarckian.
It does, and actually Lamarck was partly right that how mothers act during pregnancy can actually have a bearing on their kids. We did an experiment, had a lab in Australia, and we fed mice and rats high-fat diet. They became obese, and then their offspring were more susceptible to getting fat as well. That's what we call epigenetics, and you can inherit how the DNA is not just the strands of DNA, but how they're structured, so you can be susceptible to diseases.
Can this present itself in not just like a biological state of you've got to weight, but if, for instance, you're stressed, it's the mental aspect of the person being?
Oh, for sure, yeah. How you behave during pregnancy can greatly affect how your kids are when they come out. So yeah, even in the womb, you can have a big effect on the future life, even the end of life of your children.
Yeah, I read somewhere about mothers who did not want their children, how they did a study and found that actually had a bearing on the child's mental well-being, the fact that the mother didn't want the child.
That's very true, and what we're learning now is that there are ways that you can raise children, and even as adults, modify your lifestyle so that you can overcome these things that may affect your ability to be healthy mentally and physically.
So we can actually determine how our children will be, not just by the genetics, but by if, for instance, you became super fit or you increased your intelligence in some way or another, you could then pass that to your children.
Yeah, for sure. And it's these chemicals that Chuck mentioned, these methyls, that partly determine how our DNA is inherited to kids.
So you can treat yourself well and end up treating your kid well.
But David, every cell of our body has identical DNA, correct?
Most of them.
Oh, yeah, okay, defines who we are. And then, like, the zygote has this DNA, but what does it mean to change my DNA if I have a DNA in every one of the trillion, however many cells there are in my body? Is it changing in every one of those cells? Is it only changing in the sperm and the egg?
So how you behave, what you eat, whether you exercise, whether you get obese, that changes the epigenetics of the whole body. So genes are changing and how they get switched on and off. And then your children can inherit those. But the DNA sequence, the actual string of chemicals, the 4 letters A, T, C, G, strung a billion times in different combinations, that doesn't change. So the reader changes, but not the actual music.
Are you saying aging?
Service by Lexus uses genuine Lexus parts installed by Lexus experts, which makes owning a Lexus feel as good as driving.
Good evening, everyone. Or as the French say, good evening. No, it's bonjour, bienvenue. Yes, yes, I'm learning. I'm trying to practice my French. I'm not gonna lie, Montreal probably has the sexiest border I've ever come to in my life. Yeah, I didn't feel like I was being interrogated. I felt like I was being flirted with. It was really sexy. And so, what are you planning to do in Montreal? I'm planning to stay. That's what I'm doing. The French. The most romantic language in the world. No, the accent is romantic as well, but it is. It's funny how every accent has its own connotation to it. You speak with a French accent, you are sexy. How are you, ladies? And then there's some accents just have no sex appeal to them at all. Like the Russian accent. There's nothing sexy about it. Everything the Russians say sounds dangerous and menacing. It doesn't matter what they say, because they've got that thing. Yes, I'm Russian, go to kill you, break you, destroy your family. Like even if Russians say nice things, it still sounds dangerous. They still go, yes, fluffy rabbits and teddy bears. What? It's like that weird thing, like the Russian accent is so... And you know what, like, the crazy thing about the Russians is everyone in the world is afraid of them. Everyone, no matter where you go in the world. You know the Russians are frightened. Because they're the only country that makes America think before doing something. Everywhere else in the world, America acts when something happens. When Russia does something, we think about it. Yeah, you saw the whole thing that happened. That plane that was shot down, the Malaysian flight, the Ukrainian rebels shot the plane came down. You know, America came out, Barack Obama, he was there, he's like, we gotta find out who did this. We're gonna come down on them like an iron fist. We're gonna let them know what time it is. I'm paraphrasing. And then everyone found out it was the Russians that supplied the Ukrainian rebels with the missile that shot down the plane. And then all of a sudden Obama was like, but let's not rush to conclusions. We'll take our time and not point fingers, especially not at the Russians. I'm going home now. Thank you very much. There's something about the Russians. You know what's weird is I find the Russian accent frightening, but not the Russian language. It's the strangest thing ever. There's certain languages I find frightening. There's certain accents that throw me off. You know, for instance, I find Arabic frightening as a language. You know, it just has that thing in it. The guy could be saying anything. We're talking about Candy Crush. But it's because we've watched all those movies, all those TV shows. Every time you see Arabic, some bad shit goes down. It's never something cool or sexy, you know? It's never like, it's never that. So the language is frightening, but Russian, for some reason, I don't find frightening at all. Yeah, I don't. I realized this. I was walking through the streets of New York. There was a Russian guy. He was walking next to me, and he happened to be on the phone, right? It sounded like he was setting up a drug deal. And so this guy is walking next to me, and he's talking, and he switched from Russian, switched from English, the English-Russian accent, into Russian. And it went from fear to no fear. It was the strangest thing ever. He was on the phone.